What does the biggest battle in history actually look like? Not thousands, not hundreds of thousands. I'm talking about armies so huge they swallowed entire regions. Battles where 500,000, 1 million, even millions of men were thrown into the fire. And the losses? Sometimes so high, they barely feel human. Starting at number 10, these are the largest battles in history. Number 10. The Battle of Mukden. In 1905, at Mukden, China, about 600,000 men crashed into each other in one of the largest battles fought before World War I. Roughly 330,000 Russians faced 270,000 Japanese, and by the end, the losses were staggering. Around 90,000 Russian casualties and more than 70,000 Japanese killed and wounded. This was no old-style clash of kings. This was modern war becoming industrial. Huge armies, relentless artillery, endless attrition. And the world was getting a preview of the slaughter still to come. Number 9. The Battle of Leipzig. In 1813, Europe exploded at Leipzig. This was the Battle of the Nations, with roughly 560,000 soldiers involved overall, including about 360,000 coalition troops against nearly 200,000 under Napoleon. Total losses are commonly placed at around 90,000 to 130,000 casualties. Before World War I, Europe had never seen anything like it. French forces, Russian forces, Prussians, Austrians, Swedes, and when Napoleon lost here, his empire began to unravel. Number 8. The Battle of Verdun. Fought between France and Germany from February to December 1916, Verdun was less a battle and more a machine for consuming men. The exact number of soldiers involved depends on whether you count all the divisions rotated through the sector, but estimates place it at well over 1 million troops over the course of the battle. The losses were horrific. About 400,000 French casualties and about 350,000 German casualties, roughly 750,000 total, including around 300,000 dead. Month after month, French and German soldiers were fed into fire, mud, steel, and shell bursts. Verdun wasn't just big, it was one of the clearest examples of war turned into organized exhaustion. Number 7. The First Battle of the Marne. In 1914, the German advance toward Paris looked unstoppable. Then came the Marne. Across the wider battle zone, more than 2 million men were involved, with roughly 1.08 million French and British troops facing about 750,000 to 900,000 Germans. Casualty estimates vary, but the battle is often put at roughly 300,000 to 500,000 total casualties, with about 250,000 French losses, around 298,000 German casualties, and about 13,000 British casualties. One battle stopped the drive on Paris. And with that, the dream of a short war died. Europe was heading into the trenches. Number 6. The Battle of Changping. Now we go back to the ancient world. At Changping, ancient sources describe a clash of around 1 million troops, roughly 550,000 Qin against 450,000 Zhao. The reported losses are catastrophic. Zhao is said to have lost almost 450,000 men, many allegedly executed after surrender. But these are ancient figures, and modern historians treat them with caution. Even with uncertainty in the numbers, Changping stands as one of the most terrifying battles of antiquity, not just because of its scale, but because of the ending. A victory so total, it became massacre. Number 5. The Battle of Stalingrad. Stalingrad was not just a battle for a city. It was a fight for momentum, survival, and the fate of the Eastern Front. Across the wider Stalingrad campaign, some estimates put the number of participants at around 2 million or more. The losses were apocalyptic, around 800,000 Axis casualties, about 1,100,000 Soviet casualties, plus roughly 40,000 civilians killed. Street by street, factory by factory, room by room, Stalingrad didn't just break an army, it broke the myth that Hitler could not be stopped. Number 4. The Battle of Kursk. If scale had a symbol, Kursk would be one of them. The battle involved about 2 million troops, around 6,000 tanks, and roughly 4,000 aircraft. German losses are commonly cited at about 70,000 men, though broader campaign estimates vary and can be higher depending on what phase is included. This was the greatest armored collision in history. Germany tried to smash the Soviet line. Instead, it hit layer after layer of defense: mines, guns, trenches, armor. And after Kursk, Germany never truly regained the initiative in the east. Number 3. The Battle of Moscow. By late 1941, Hitler's armies were racing toward the Soviet capital. The scale was enormous. Britannica says the Germans committed about 3 million troops to the broader offensive, while Soviet strength in the battle zone was roughly 1.25 million or more, placing the total engagement at well over 2 million combatants. Losses were devastating. Germany suffered about 250,000 to 400,000 dead or wounded, while Soviet losses ranged from 600,000 to 1,300,000 dead, wounded, or captured. Then, winter hit, and with it came the counterattack. Moscow became the moment the world learned Germany could bleed. Number 2. The Battle of Berlin. In 1945, the war in Europe ended in a storm of fire. Before the fighting began, about 2.5 million Soviet troops stood in front of Berlin. German defenders were far fewer, but the final struggle still produced appalling losses. The Red Army suffered about 350,000 casualties, while German military casualties reached at least 450,000, with an estimated 300,000 civilians killed or wounded. This was not just another battle. This was the violent death of the Third Reich. Every street became a fortress. Every block became a grave. Berlin was not only one of history's largest battles, it was one of its final nightmares. And at number 1, the Battle of the Dnieper. This colossal 1943 campaign is often described as involving almost 4 million troops across a front of roughly 1,400 kilometers. Soviet strength alone exceeded 2.6 million men, while German forces were roughly 1.1 to 1.25 million, depending on the date used. Casualty estimates vary, but Soviet losses are often placed at about 1.3 to 1.7 million, while German losses are commonly given at roughly 370,000 or more. Think about that. Not a battlefield, a front. Not one city, an entire region on fire. River crossings under bombardment, entrenched defenses, counterattacks, endless movement, endless death. By sheer scale, the Dnieper is often cited as one of the largest battles in human history. So which one shocked you the most? Changping, where ancient warfare reached industrial levels of slaughter. Stalingrad, where a city turned into a graveyard. Or the Dnieper, where millions fought across a front too large to fully imagine. Comment the battle that deserves its own full video, and subscribe for more dark, epic history. Because the biggest battles in history weren't just fought, they consumed nations.